Meta and its platforms have reached a large settlement, very sizable, with dozens of states over claims that the social media giant intentionally designed addictive platforms that over time harm the mental health of teenagers. As part of this settlement, Meta will pay $17 billion in fines to these states. They will be paid over a duration of many years. Meta will also add new protections to Facebook and Instagram. Significantly, Meta did not admit to any wrongdoing. Kelly O'Grady joins me now. So, Kelly, Meta is a $1.47 trillion market cap company. $17 billion is not insignificant, but in that context, this appears to be a shrewd move on Meta's part, in part reflected by Wall Street closing up 1% on Meta stock today.
Absolutely. I think like any good negotiation major, both sides walked away with something, right? The states were able to get billions of dollars and some significant product changes, which, we can talk about in a bit. But for Meta, they also came away with certainty because $17 billion, it is the biggest settlement that Meta has ever agreed to, biggest legal settlement in history. So this was no drop in the bucket in terms of past precedent. That being said, they were looking at potentially over $1 trillion in fees if this trial did not go their way. So, I mean, you sort of put those two numbers up. It definitely was a win for investors. And Meta has said that they don't make much of their revenue from these teen accounts. So the product changes, investors are looking at this as, well, it's not going to meaningfully affect that top line.
And what are the product changes going to be?
So a number for accounts that are under 18, right, teen accounts, it's going to be a 2-hour limit in terms of usage across Facebook and Instagram. You're also going to see essentially the product shut down overnight for teen users, doing away with like counts, more parental controls. I think the most interesting piece of this, though, is the age verification. So that has traditionally been extremely difficult, not just for Meta, but also for a number of other social media platforms to get wrong. Because, a kid can just open up your phone, create an account, and lie that they're over the age of 18, right? And it's very difficult to verify that they are who they say they are in terms of age. So Meta has committed to developing more, investing more in that technology. But if they're not able to get it right, all of those changes that I just mentioned are not going to work because the app is not going to be able to verify that that person is under 18. But it is the most significant piece that we have seen them commit to in the past.
And Kelly, as I've read through my notes, 70% of this settlement amount, $17 billion, will be paid out over a decade. Then there's 30% contingent on the behavior of companies not called Meta or part of their platforms, YouTube and TikTok.
I know, this was pretty shocking. I was reading through the fine print, and now it made sense that in Meta's first video statement by the chief legal officer, they were calling out YouTube and TikTok saying, hey, well, teens, then, they're not wrong. If they're not going to use our platform, they can just go somewhere else. And so 30% of that total fee that we were talking about is contingent on whether TikTok and YouTube also go forth and make similar changes. And when you look at 30,000 feet of the landscape, there are tons of suits against TikTok, YouTube, Snap, other ones against Meta. Today's settlement, if approved by a judge, doesn't say that, yes, it's going to decide those other cases, but it certainly gives plaintiffs a blueprint of what they should push for. There's going to be a lot of pressure on these companies saying, well, why aren't you making the changes that Meta is?
Right. Very quickly, Kelly, if you don't make the changes, those companies are exposed. And if they do, they might not be.
That's right. But none of those suits have been decided yet.
Right. Very good. Kelly O'Grady, great stuff as always. I appreciate it.